Both of my parents came from other countries, and their parents before them, that did not guarantee the freedoms we have in this country. My father's family escaped from Ukraine at a time after World War II when they were being persecuted for their beliefs and their religion. So they sought to leave. It took them many years to get across Europe on foot, and they were lucky enough to get sponsors in the United States. And they came over and had a freedom that they had never enjoyed before. My parents and my family before them and the founders all wanted us to live in a place where you could earn your potential, you could be the best you could be. And in other areas where they'd lived, that wasn't even possible because of their religious beliefs or the political beliefs. And so their parents decided they needed to come over to this country to ensure that their children and their children's children could be free. And I'm the first generation that gets to do that. So it's important to me to carry that on for my children now and maybe someday their children. I've always kept a Constitution by my bedside, along with some history books that I found were interesting that gave both sides of the perspective when there were arguments as the Constitution was being founded. And that's interesting reading because a lot of it can give you answers when you see in the newspaper or you hear or read that your state is going to consider a certain legislation or your federal government is going to enact a law that affects everyone. Well, what would the founding fathers have said about that in that time? It always comes up. You'll hear folks on television talking about what did that really mean? Well, the founding fathers would never have allowed us to do those things. Well, people don't really look back at the original guidebook. It's the original, what they thought and what they held most dear and died for. People forget. People died, even going to make this document. And they did it several times. It was a do-over a few times there with the Articles of Confederation. The amendments were actually written and carried out and signed 2 years almost after the original Constitution was written. So it's had a long history in coming, as we know, but it took a long time to even make, and such that many people could agree on it. I think it's very important that we pass that along and use that as our guidepost, our lodestar. You sort of owe it to future generations to carry on what others have given you, and that's right in the preamble. So it's important that youth know and understand what's inside the Constitution that protect them and their family. I think every student should learn, understand, and appreciate their Constitution, and actually putting it in their hands makes it real, gives it life. And a breathing, living Constitution is something that is carried out and felt by everyone who has to live under it. And it's only what we make it, because if you read it carefully, it's our government and it's by the people and for the people that make it so special and preserve the rights for everyone. Without people understanding and holding the same beliefs that all should be free, we lose it. It's important, very important.